two countries together hold 88% of every nuclear weapon on Earth. They have never fought each other directly, not once, yet they have spent almost 80 years locked in a rivalry that has shaped every corner of the planet. So what is it between America and Russia? Hate, fear, or something far more complicated? Here is what surprises most people. This was never inevitable. For most of history, America and Russia barely registered on each other's radar. But that changed fast. In 1918, about 13,000 American soldiers actually landed on Russian soil, backing the losing side in Russia's brutal civil war. The Bolsheviks won. They remembered. That moment planted a seed of suspicion, a sense that the West would always try to undermine Russia, and that seed never fully died. Then came World War II. For a brief, extraordinary moment, the two powers were actually allies against Hitler. But the moment the war ended, that alliance shattered, because these two countries did not just disagree on policy, they disagreed on reality. America believed in free markets, democracy, individual rights. The Soviet Union believed the state should own everything, and that capitalism was the enemy of working people everywhere. That is not a policy dispute. That is two completely different visions for how civilization should work. In 1947, President Truman made it official, requesting $400 million to push back Soviet influence in Greece and Turkey. The Cold War had begun, and then both sides built bombs, lots of them. By 1986, the Soviet Union had roughly 45,000 nuclear warheads. The United States had about 24,000. Together, enough to end civilization many times over. This created something strategists called mutual assured destruction, or MAD. If either side launched, the other would launch back, and everyone dies. So paradoxically, the weapons built to win a war actually prevented one. Both superpowers were stuck, like two people pointing guns at each other across a table, neither willing to fire, neither able to walk away. In October 1962, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, they came terrifyingly close to finding out what happened when someone blinked. If they could not fight each other directly, they fought everywhere else: Korea, Vietnam, Angola, Afghanistan. For nearly 50 years, the US and the Soviet Union funded and armed opposite sides in conflicts across 3 continents. In Afghanistan alone, the CIA spent over $3 billion arming fighters against Soviet troops, at the time the costliest covert operation in CIA history. 58,000 Americans died in Vietnam, many of them killed with Soviet-supplied weapons. The Cold War was cold only between the two superpowers. For everyone caught in the middle, it was catastrophic. Think of it this way. Imagine two enormous neighbors who have spent decades building the tallest fences possible and arming their households to the teeth. And every time a fight breaks out anywhere on the street, each one rushes to back a different side. After enough of that, the distrust is not about any single argument anymore. It gets baked into the relationship itself. Every move the other makes starts to look like a threat, even when it is not. Then, in 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. For Americans, it felt like victory. For Russians, it felt like losing everything. Putin later called it the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century. Whole industries vanished. National pride cratered. And while Russia was still reeling, NATO, the military alliance built specifically to counter the Soviet Union, started expanding eastward, adding 14 former Soviet and Warsaw Pact countries between 1999 and 2020. Russia saw that as a fundamental betrayal. Back in 1990, US Secretary of State James Baker had reportedly told Soviet leader Gorbachev that NATO would move not 1 inch eastward. That assurance was never made into a binding treaty. It was not kept. Even George Kennan, the man who designed America's Cold War containment strategy, spent his final years warning that NATO expansion would be a tragic mistake. He lived to be 101. He was right. That tension has been burning ever since. Russia seized Crimea in 2014, the first forcible annexation of European territory since World War II. Then, in February 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The United States responded by committing over $175 billion in military, economic, and humanitarian aid to Ukraine, the largest American investment in European security since the Cold War itself. By almost any measure, we are now in a second Cold War. And the difference this time is that both sides know exactly how escalation works. Here is why all of this matters to you, right now. Russia and the United States still hold 88% of all nuclear weapons on Earth. Both maintain what is called a launch-on-warning posture, meaning missiles can be authorized before a confirmed enemy strike even lands. This rivalry is not ancient history gathering dust in a textbook. It is the operating system running underneath global politics today, shaping energy prices, elections, alliances, and the daily question of whether the world tomorrow looks anything like the world today. To understand why America and Russia are rivals is to understand almost everything about the modern world.